Howdy, Mindtech here. Welcome back to another Minecraft video. Now, this is kind of a little bit of a different video. I decided to do myself like a little third-person kind of look on one of my builds that I've done. And the reason why I did this build at all is because I saw a comment last on one of my previous videos saying that they would like to see more of my building stuff, and so I decided to do this video. Now remember, if you guys do like this, please do leave a like and subscribe for more stuff like this and like that. Let's get right into the video. Now we're going to start ourselves here in the builder's mindset that I had behind this. I obviously wanted to do something simple. This kind of took me like 35 or so minutes, and so I'm going to kind of walk you guys through a little bit of my thinking process behind this, and hopefully we can all become a little bit better at the end of the day. And I will say this did take me about almost 30 minutes whenever I built this, so there's some things I would like to improve, but I did want to keep this a little bit short. So first thing I want to start off is the belly. As you can see, I marked that out in yellow. I am using the design from one of the Parrot models in Minecraft, and so the yellow orangish belly is what we wanted to go for originally, and then there's obviously a light blue body as well for the back. Now I will say before we get too much further into this that there are some shots on the back that I worked on and I never really got the show on camera, so I do apologize for that, but I did do the whole statue of the bird. Now you also will notice how low it sits to the ground. I didn't do the legs just because the way that the Minecraft legs worked for the bird, I would need a vertical slab, and since this is purely vanilla, I didn't want to do that. So this kind of build is perfect for a statue design. And so with that being said, now you can see my character is slowly working out the general shape of the bird, trying to figure out where the head will eventually go, basing off that one block at the top. I could have edited this down a little bit shorter in order for you guys to actually see the most important parts of this build, but I wanted to kind of show you guys still a little bit on the slow process of me actually doing this. Again, this is like a 25-minute build, and it being because of all the prepping I had to do for it, but hopefully you guys kind of understand a little bit more on the thought process on this as I keep going. One of the things I really wanted to tackle whenever I was building this was the difference between Minecraft and organic, and that's the biggest struggle when it comes to these life-like builds, is being able to understand the difference between, oh, that looks real, and oh, that's Minecraft. So I really wanted to try to get a little bit of difference in that. As you can see, as I slowly start working out the head in this frame right here, I am trying to change the color of the head a little bit, because if you look at the head, it looks like it has a little bit of the connecting light blue, which then slowly shifts to cyan, and there's even a little bit of green at the very top. Now I will say that whenever it came to like the wings and the head, I had to change it several times, including the beak and the eyes and stuff. It was just really annoying for some reason. And you can see the white up there. The parrot actually has a white face, which was a little detail I kind of forgot about, and so I was just a little bit shocked whenever I was working on this. If you couldn't tell from here, which is kind of hard to see, I used light concrete powder, white concrete powder, in order to keep the face as bright as possible with a little bit of texture, but making it a little bit ruffled. Problem is that concrete falls like sand and gravel in the game, so I had to change it out eventually for concrete, just to make my life a little bit simpler. it was roughly around this point that I started worrying about like the head and the tail feathers and the wings. And there's that bit of green that I was talking about earlier. And this is when I noticed about the gravel, like I mentioned earlier as well. Also, because of the head feathers that stick up from the bird, I also had to worry about that. There's just a lot to worry about organic builds, because you gotta make sure that they line up perfectly. And so, typically, when you get to that point, you start having the oh no moment. I'm gonna tell you right now, you don't need to have that oh no moment. You just gotta continue building, and if it doesn't look good, you can always break the blocks. This is creative. It's not like you have a lot of, oh no, I can't break this. Yes, you can. Any build that you build can't be broken. That's just life. So if you stick with what you built with, it's never gonna look good. You always have to be sure you can edit the build and change it into your visual pleasing way, I guess is the best way to put it. So make sure that when you're doing this, you just constantly keep being like, alright, well, what if this worked better? What if that worked better? You always gotta make sure you check that. See, because like that beak right there looks god awful. And so I changed that beak 3 or 4 times. I changed the position on it, high and low. You just have to continuously keep changing your build in order for it to work out. I will go ahead and mention I am very sorry about the way that the lighting and the rain, I forgot to turn weather off, and I forgot to change the daylight to always. So I will say sorry about that, but you know, that's just me going in with commands and actually changing the days and stuff. Sorry about that. Alright, I feel like I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Mojang, please add slabs for concrete and or wool. We need them. They are a requirement. They would be handy, because that right there, even though it looks decent, they're not connecting. And it would be so much easier if we had vertical slabs and or slabs for concrete and wool. Please. It was at this point that I started worrying about the wings. There was a couple things I wanted to do with the wings. One, I wanted them to be completely outside the body. I wanted to actually have some depth to it. I didn't want it to just sit on the side of the bird. To me, that just wouldn't look good if it did, and so I wanted to try to figure out how to make the wings pop out. Secondly, I didn't want the wings to just be connected to the body. I wanted to actually add like a little pocket of air and make it look like the wings are out a little bit. Make it look like it's about ready to take off, maybe. I don't know. It definitely looks like it's like one of those, what is it? You know, like that Gmod body kind of like stance. But it definitely looks better than what it started out with, that's for sure. And as we're slowly looking at this, we can see the struggle I was having, because I wanted to try to make it symmetric. Now with organic builds, symmetric doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes you can't, you just gotta throw it out the window, but for some reason in my mind, I want to make this symmetric. So just a little fair warning, when you're making stuff like this, if it's not symmetric, it doesn't have to be. But I always try to shoot for symmetric, because I'm that kind of person that goes insane when it's not symmetric. So don't worry about it being symmetric, unless that's what you're shooting for. It was at this point that I realized the head was way too close to the body and I needed to add more depth to it. And so I moved the beak out, I made the face bigger, because I realized what I missed in this entire build, and I kind of hit myself over this moment, is that I forgot the eyes. I didn't realize that, and so whenever I took a step back, which is always a good thing, always make sure you take a step back. So I realized I forgot the eyes. So make sure, if it's an animal build that you're doing, you don't forget the eyes. I hate myself. I'm gonna go ahead and warn you guys now, whenever it comes to organic stuff, the hardest thing you're gonna have is the head. I'm telling you, it is the biggest struggle in the world, trying to make sure you have every single tiny little detail to add as much depth into it as possible, to make it as realistic as possible. Now, if I would have used any other color palette, I probably would have had the ability to use slabs and, the woods and the stones and stuff like that to make this a little bit easier on myself. But because I use such bright colors, there's no slab version of those in the games, and so I had to make do with what I had. Now, as you can see at this point, we've actually just started adding a little bit more depth into the wings. Now, they're still looking a little bit flat, and it's something I am continuously trying to work on to this day, is trying to figure out how to make it still look natural. And, slabs and stuff would be a huge help, but again, because we don't have those slabs in the game, I have to kind of make the best out of it. Now, as we approach the end of the video, I just want to say thank you guys so much for clicking on today's video. Again, this was like a 30-minute build, but I'll be glad to do something like this again in the future. So if you do, please do it. Leave a like, comment down below what kind of build you'd like me to do in the future. Subscribe so you can always get those notifications, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.